Hi, this is Crystal with True Color World. Today we're working with part 2 of our Photoshop 101 tutorial on how to erase a background using Photoshop. Today we're using a PC and CS5 Photoshop. Now I've opened my picture, and the first thing I want to do is come up here to View and zoom in so that I can have a better idea of the image that I'm working with. Over here in our tool palette is the eraser tool, so I'll left click. And we went over the magic eraser tool already on how to use it with the left click, which takes out the entire background if the background is the same color and there's not a whole lot going on. However, that's not always the case, so we might want to use the background eraser tool to get in really close to an image without actually erasing the image, just the background. The trick is, depending on how your cursor is set up in Photoshop, it might look a little different than mine. But the main point is to not let the cursor go into the photo or cover it in any way with the cross. Otherwise, that will erase the image as well. If that should happen, you can come up here to Edit and step backward to go back to where you were and to continue erasing around the image. Now, do keep in mind that I recommend every so often, every few seconds, to unclick with the left mouse. And that way, in case you do mess up, let's say you go into the photo, you only have to go back a little portion of the way and can continue on. However, if you don't click every so often, you might be going along thinking you're doing great and you've done all this work to come around to the end and you found out that you messed up and went into the green. Well, now if you step backward, all of your work is lost. So it's much better to go along and holding that left click down and every so often just unclicking to keep going. And that way, if you mess up, you can step backward and only a little bit of your work is lost. Now I've come around most of the image that I want to keep of the flowers and have erased the background. Now notice the sides are still white, and here is where we can come and use our magic eraser tool because we've already erased here, so the eraser tool isn't going to go past any of the barriers that we've already created with the background eraser tool. So when we click here, which you may find that you can use in another photo, once you go around the image, that eraser tool can just take off the back. And again, it just really depends on the image that you're working with. And today we're just going over another tool, the background eraser tool, how to get up really close to an image without erasing it. And once we're finished, you might note that there's still a little bit of white in between. Onto the leaf, there's a little bit of white in between the flowers, so we're going to zoom in a little more and just make sure that we get every little portion of white, because that's going to be the new background that is transparent. And to just come right up close to here where the white is still showing, go right in between. Very carefully. Okay, and now we have our image, so we can actually come here to the crop tool, select the crop tool with the left click, and crop it to get rid of some of that negative space again. And right here is our check mark to crop it, and then we can save our image. So we'll come up here to File, Save for Web and Devices, and pick the PNG24. Check mark the transparency, and here should be a preview of your image. Now just always know that these gray and white checkered boxes mean that will be transparent. And we'll click Save, save it to our desktop, and we're finished. Stay tuned for our next tutorial from True Color World on the plane eraser tool.